How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Alex. You're watching Izzy's Autos. Today we are reviewing a 2020 Hyundai Elantra. Before we get into this video, I want to say a huge thanks to Alberta Truck and Auto for letting me review this car for all of you guys to watch. They have an incredible selection of vehicles. I highly recommend you come and check them out. They've got great prices and literally a little bit of everything for what you're looking for. So anyhow, this 2020 Hyundai Elantra, this isn't a base model, so you're going to get things like heated seats, you're going to get heated steering wheel, which is awesome. It comes a long way, especially when you live in a cold climate like I do. You got a variety of driving assists available too. You're going to have things like blind spot monitoring. You're going to have active lane assist. So with that, when you're driving in a line, the car is essentially going to alert you when you step out of those lines. So you've got that as well. But overall, this car does come really well equipped for what you pay for. Now, as for the interior of this car, I think it's really comfy. They've done an excellent job with designing this interior, in my opinion. Sure, there are little remnants of the old Elantra, but overall, they've done a really nice refresh here. The steering wheel feels quite excellent in your hands. Not gonna lie, it's actually very comfy. It's leather wrapped as well. You've got your buttons clearly laid out for you, so it's really easy to identify them and use them. Of course, this is a tilt and telescopic steering wheel, which comes a really long way. The buttons feel quite good overall. It's not Mercedes grade, if you want to call it that, but they do have some nice feedback when you're going through the dials and clicking the buttons, so they didn't do a bad job there. But because it is a Hyundai, you are going to find some pieces of plastic throughout the vehicle. You can't really expect really much more when this car is priced the way that it is. But overall, the fit and finish of this car is pretty good for what you're paying for. They've got some faux carbon fiber on the inside just to add a little bit more of a visual pop, and they've got some aluminum accents as well there too. Visibility is quite nice as well. You've got a pretty big windshield, and these windows are actually quite nicely sized as well. These seats are quite comfy. I wouldn't say they're supportive on the sides. This isn't really a sports car, but they are very soft. I don't really see me being sore after taking this car for a long drive, for example. I think cubby space is okay. This center console is quite shallow. You can't really put too much in there. You do have a decent spot to put a phone, for example, in this little cubby area right above the gear shifter. Your glove box is an average size. You've got a couple door pockets here, but they're really not that wide. So if you've got a thick water bottle, chances are you can't really fit it in there. As for the exterior, this is a subjective thing. I personally think they did a pretty decent job with it. They went to town on some of the styling, I think. The front looks all right. They've got these aggressive lines, and the lights that they made actually look quite nice with the LED strips and whatnot on the inside. However, I don't really see too much of a connection with the front of the vehicle and the rear of the vehicle. They've got these really sharp and aggressive lines in the front, followed by some soft curves throughout the side of the vehicle, and then some rounded lights and rounded shapes at the back. I don't think the flow of it is all that well, but again, that's just an opinion of mine. Now, this is obviously a front-wheel drive vehicle. This four-cylinder is a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine. But anyhow, setting off here, and speaking of this engine, we're just going to touch on it right away here. It's actually quite quiet. Idling, it's not very rough. It's actually very smooth, and that wasn't traditionally a thing you would notice with Hyundai engines. But this one does actually seem very composed at idle, and even when we're cruising right now at just above 1500 RPM. Sight lines, really nice. Super easy to see out of. Steering actually feels quite direct. It does seem quite touchy as well, which is a nice thing to have. So a responsive steering rack does come a long way, especially if you need to make some tight maneuvers. And even with these all-season tires, actually it seems to be doing pretty good. Just taking that turn there, it didn't really understeer too much. So we've got lane assist on. I've got a line on the right-hand side, and I've got some snow on the left, so let's see how that feels if I go over it. What should be happening... Yeah, okay, so maybe we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It's snowy outside, and the lines aren't really visible, so... Nope, hold on, there we go. Okay. That just worked right there. Okay, so little indicator, the little light on there, when it shows green, from what I just experienced, it means that it's reading the lines on the sides of the road. Okay, never mind. Oh, there it is. There's the green. So my hand's not on the wheel and it's turning for me. And now it just let off because there's lots of snow. So it actually it steered quite well there. I was actually surprised. I thought this was just going to be one of those systems where it alerts you and then you have to correct the steering yourself, but it actually corrected it on its own. So touche, Hyundai, touche. So let's talk about one of the things that I think Hyundai does an excellent job at, and that is providing value for what you pay for. This isn't, let's face it, the most expensive vehicle, but the amount of options and features that you get with it, I think, are really, really awesome. And that's something that Hyundai does a great job at. For example, there aren't too many manufacturers that'll give you heated seats, a heated steering wheel, all of these safety features, Bluetooth, Android Auto, and all these things, push button start, keyless entry, sunroof, for the price that these Hyundais are going for. So you got to give it to the Koreans. They're really providing you with a lot of value for what you pay for. So you got to give your hats off to them in that department. So far driving, yeah, this is a pretty quiet car overall. The sound deadening isn't incredible. You do hear some road noise and whatnot, but you wouldn't really expect anything different from a Hyundai, especially at this price range. However, it's actually not too bad. Comfort-wise is pretty good too. Going over some bumps, it's pretty composed, pretty smooth, no complaints there. I'm actually quite impressed at how responsive the steering is. I reviewed a Mercedes C350 on my last video, a 2012. I feel, not gonna lie, that this Elantra seems to have a quicker steering rack than that Mercedes, so I find that quite interesting. What does drive mode do? All right, so we're in sport mode. Now we just get a picture of the Hyundai changing in red, and the engine just turned to red. Okay, this throttle is just way faster now. Although it's really fighting with the traction control, but okay, you put it in sport mode, it feels kind of different. That's actually feels quite a bit different, not gonna lie. So with sport mode, generally speaking, what ends up happening is the vehicle kind of changes the throttle response of it. It's not going to make it faster by chance, it's just going to make it more responsive overall. But when you do put it in sport mode, you will notice that change, because just putting minimal pressure on the accelerator and it goes pretty fast. So not too bad on there, Hyundai, not too bad there. Now let's see how this transmission is when you put it in sport mode. Very responsive. This transmission, again, I'm going to reference back to that Mercedes C350, is substantially faster. On the fly, you tap it and it's changing. Fourth, third, second, third, fourth. Really fast. I'm actually really impressed with that. This is just a regular automatic too, so good job on that one, Hyundai. You literally just beat a Mercedes C350 from 2012. Let's see what the power is like on this car now. Now, you're not going to win any races with this engine. When you get a little bit above 3,000 RPM, it starts to whine a little bit, so couldn't really expect much more, to be honest. But overall, it's got enough. It's got more than enough for the average person who's just looking for a daily commuter. But you know, for what you need to quickly overtake someone, you can do it. You can definitely do it with this car. You just probably have to put your foot all the way down, because when you put it about 50%, it's a little slow to react. It's a little bit lax, but you know, again, you can't really expect too much from a car that costs this much, and really for it being just a sedan, a very well-priced, good-valued sedan. You can't really expect it for too much there. Oh, I'm feeling nice and toasty. So this heated steering wheel works really nicely. It's warming up my hands, and it feels like a full heated steering wheel too, so that's nice. These heated seats, they're really hot as well, which is good because it is a chilly day. Yeah, no, honestly, this is a great choice of a vehicle. If you're looking for something that's in the 20,000s, this exact model is actually priced in the high teens for a 2020 used Hyundai Elantra with 17,000 K. This car is going for the high teens. I think it was in the 18s or something like that, 18s or 19s. That's actually really impressive, considering the fact that these cars are still going for the mid-20s, mid to low 20s, that's a really good deal. So I honestly think if you're looking for an Elantra, chances are you're going to be checking out a Volkswagen Jetta. You're probably going to be looking at a Mitsubishi Lancer, maybe even some North American vehicles like the Chrysler 200. I honestly think this might be one of the nicest choices you can get for what you pay. The styling is really youthful. It's quite nice. It's not the prettiest design out there, but it's not boring. And that was my blind spot monitor right there, if you noticed. So yeah, no, this is a great choice. I highly recommend you consider this car if you're looking for a really nice, well-rounded family sedan that is still youthful, gives you lots of nice options, and isn't that expensive. This is probably a car that you want to consider. So we just made it back to the dealership here. Well done, Hyundai. Well done. You actually did a really good job with this car. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this was a little bit of an educational one for you if you're looking to buy this car or were considering looking at this vehicle. It has a lot of value and a lot to offer. I highly recommend you take a look at it. It's got quite a few features. It drives really nicely. The engine is not too bad. I'm assuming it's going to be great on gas. I want to give a huge thank you to Alberta Truck and Auto for allowing me to show you guys this car. Once again, link will be in the description. Check them out. They've got a great variety of vehicles for really anyone, for any kind of car person as well, whether you're just an average person who wants an A to B car or you're looking for a sports car. This is the perfect choice for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Consider subscribing to this channel. I will be doing quite a few more videos in the future. And if you like this video, it's going to help me out a lot. Leave a thumbs up down below. We'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.